You have the goals. You have the plans. You have the desire. So why does it feel like you're constantly wrestling with yourself? Why does a part of you seem to sabotage your own progress, just as you're about to break through? It's not a lack of willpower. It's not that you're broken. The truth is, you have an enemy living rent-free in your head. And the most shocking part? That enemy is a version of you that thinks it's helping. It's like having a bodyguard who's so terrified of you getting hurt that he won't let you leave the house. Ever. He locks the doors, hides the keys, and tells you horror stories about the outside world, all while claiming it's for your own good. We've all been there. You set a big, exciting goal. You're pumped. You're motivated. And then, almost on cue, the voice starts. What if you fail? You don't have what it takes. Maybe you should just wait until tomorrow. It's exhausting. It feels like a civil war inside your own mind. You end up stuck, frustrated, and wondering why you're your own biggest obstacle. This isn't a personal flaw. This is a design flaw. Your brain wasn't built for success in the modern world. It was built for survival in a dangerous one. It's running on ancient software that's terrified of change, and it will fight to the death to keep you in a predictable, familiar loop, even if that loop is making you miserable. And today, we're going to expose the 3 ways your brain's ancient wiring is fighting against your future, and how you can finally make peace and start winning. The first reason your mind fights you is that it is hardwired for comfort, not for growth. Your brain's primary job is to keep you safe and conserve energy. It's a sophisticated alarm system, not a crystal ball. It sees your ambitious goal, starting a business, getting in shape, learning a new skill, not as an opportunity, but as a threat. A threat to your stable routine. A threat to your energy reserves. A threat of potential failure and social rejection. So, it pulls the emergency brake. It floods you with feelings of anxiety, procrastination, and self-doubt. It's not trying to ruin your life. In its own primitive way, it's trying to save you from the unknown. Think of it like this. Your brain would rather you sit comfortably in a dark, familiar cave than risk stepping into the sunlight where there might be a predator. It would rather you be safely miserable than riskily magnificent. The second battle, and this is a deep one, is over identity. Your mind clings to the story of who you are, even when that story is holding you back. From the moment you were born, you've been building a mental blueprint of yourself. I'm the shy one. I'm not good with numbers. I'm unlucky in love. This identity becomes your psychological home. It's familiar, even if it's a prison. Now, when you try to become a more confident, financially savvy, or socially successful person, your brain senses a conflict. This new behavior doesn't match the old blueprint. It feels foreign, fake, and dangerous. So, it will create imposter syndrome. It will manufacture discomfort. It will pull you back to your old habits, not because they're good for you, but because they are familiar. Your mind would rather you be an authentic version of your small self than an unfamiliar version of your great one. It mistakes the familiar for the safe. Finally, your mind is terrified of the spotlight. It fears judgment and rejection above almost anything else. In our tribal past, being ostracized wasn't just lonely, it was a death sentence. You couldn't survive alone. So, your brain has a built-in, hair-trigger alarm system for social threat. When you put yourself out there, when you share your art, ask for a promotion, voice a controversial opinion, or even just post a vulnerable thought online, this alarm goes off at full volume. It's screaming, danger. You might be rejected. Get back in line. Be like everyone else. This is why you feel that physical resistance. The pounding heart, the tightness in your chest, the sheer terror. It's not a sign you're on the wrong path. It's a sign you're on the right one, and your primitive brain is having a full-blown panic attack about it. It would rather you be invisible and accepted than visible and potentially criticized. So, how do you win this war? You don't fight your mind. That just creates more internal conflict. You befriend it. You educate it. You become the conscious pilot of your brain, not the panicking passenger. Here is your 3-step peace treaty. First, for the comfort-craving mind, you must become a master of tiny steps. This is called Kaizen, the art of small, continuous improvements. The goal is to make the step so small it's invisible to your brain's threat radar. Don't try to run a marathon. Just put on your running shoes. Don't try to write a book. Just write one sentence. Don't try to clean the whole house. Just wash one dish. Action, no matter how small, builds a new neural pathway. It proves to your amygdala, your fear center, that you can take a step into the unknown and survive. It builds momentum that fear cannot stop. Second, for the identity-clinging mind, you must become a storyteller. You need to consciously rewrite the narrative, but you must do it gently. You don't smash the old statue, you build a new one next to it. Don't declare, "I am a confident public speaker." That's too big a leap and your brain will rebel. Instead, use the language of process. Say, "I am someone who is practicing speaking up more often." Or, for the next week, I'll experiment with being more assertive. Frame it as trying on a new version of yourself, like trying on a new jacket. Does it fit? How does it feel? This gives your brain a new identity to explore without demanding it burn down the old one immediately. Third, for the judgment-fearing mind, you must practice courageous exposure. You must willingly step into small doses of discomfort to build your immunity. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision that your goal, your truth, your growth is more important than your fear. Start small. Share an opinion in a meeting. Post a piece of work you're only 80% happy with. Wear an outfit that feels slightly too much. With each small act, you collect data for your brain. You prove to it that the sky did not fall down, that people did not point and laugh, that you survived. And with each piece of data, the alarm bell gets a little quieter. The internal war ends the moment you understand your mind is not your enemy. It's a loyal, but overprotective, guard dog. It's barking at every shadow, trying to keep you safe in a world that doesn't have the same kind of saber-toothed tigers anymore. You can't stop the barking, but you can learn to pat the dog on the head, say, "I see you're scared. Thank you for trying to protect me," put a leash on it, and calmly walk past it towards the life you want to build. Your mind is a powerful tool, but you are the one who must hold it. You are the user, not the program. You are the conscious captain of this ship, and it's time to take the wheel from the terrified first mate who wants to anchor in the harbor forever. I want you to make a concrete plan right now. Don't just listen, act. What is one area where you feel this internal resistance? Is it your career, your social life, your health? Now, identify the primary fear. Is it comfort, identity, or judgment? Your mission is to choose one tiny step from the peace treaty. Just one. That's your homework for the next 24 hours. Your only job is to prove your brain wrong, one microscopic victory at a time. If this video helped you understand the battle in your mind, hit that like button. It tells the algorithm that this message matters and helps us reach more people fighting the same war. Subscribe to the channel for more insights that help you win the inner war and unlock your potential. And in the comments, I want to know, what is your one tiny step? What goal are you working towards, and what's the first miniature action you'll take to show your brain who's really in charge? Let's build a library of courage down there. Remember, the goal isn't to silence your mind. It's to become its wise, compassionate, and decisive leader. The war is over. Your growth begins now.